to the Cajun dance and the Zydeco. Filet gumbo and a crawfish pie. Filet gumbo and a crawfish pie.
Welcome to Literary Gumbo, a continuing look at the world of writers, writing, publishing, and anything else that sort of aligns with those big words. My name is Fred Klein. I'm the chief stirrer at the moment. And my guest today, and matter of fact, she's almost like a regular. This is the third time that my good friend, who is not only a writer but a teacher, an author but a teacher, but Marcia Meier, welcome to Literary Gumbo for the third time.
Thank you, Fred.
The point is she's had so many things happen to her since the last time. I mean, you've probably done 20 things while we've just been sitting here. But let's go back. Let's just wander back to the early days. I mean, you and I met while we were both writing for the paper, or was that you were?
I think so. I was trying to remember. I know we've known each other a long time.
No, but I think part of it was the paper. I think you had left, but the association with the paper and the friends who left quickly and who have fortunately have all been seen and heard from nicely since then.
Since then, yes.
But then there was the writers' conference. Well, again, you've been writing for years.
I was a newspaper editor and writer for 18 years before I left that business and freelance then for a long time, and did marketing and community relations for Westmont for almost 8 years.
That's right. Yeah, that's where it was again. Yeah. And then the writers' conference.
And then the writers' conference for 5 years.
And now you're on your own and becoming a stellar person just by your little old self. But when we last left, as a matter of fact, you had just published navigating
the rough waters of today's publishing
navigating
world.
The rough water. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did the book do? How has the book? Because to my mind, it's something that should keep on going.
It's still selling steadily. I'm really pleased to say. As you know, it came out in 2010. It was chosen as one of the best books for writers of 2010 by the Writer magazine, which was awesome. And we're still selling copies pretty
well, but it seems
steadily.
to me that now more than ever, you updated it at one point, didn't you?
No, we talked about doing that, but honestly, everything that I suggested was a trend has become true in spades, and it's still and it's continuing. I mean, the self-publishing, which was one of the big things I said was going to become bigger and bigger, has become unbelievably big and has just exploded. But all the other trends are still happening. It's the big houses are merging. The smaller houses.
I don't remember you were predicting that in the book.
I did, and I said the smaller houses will thrive as a result of it, and that was one of the trends.
Well, we still don't know what's going to happen with the merger of Viking and Random House.
Yeah.
But it means it certainly means less editors and less access. It seems to me.
It just opens that. It just pushes more writers into the self-publishing side of the.
But what does it do to the agent? You see, I think the agents.
I don't know. I think the agent role has already evolved quite substantially, to the point where they're doing a lot of developmental editing work.
Which is what they should have been doing all along.
Yeah. But they're doing that because the editors are not doing that. They're acquiring the editors that are left. There are a few of them that are still left in the big houses. So it's interesting to see what agents are doing and how they're, I think it'd be hard to be an agent today.
I would see to agree with you. And if you notice that, I get the New York Times every day. If you notice that they now have e-books for $1.99 coming out on major subjects, some of the New York Times writers
doing their
who
own
have just
books.
expanded.
Yeah.
It's almost what we did at one point when the Warner Commission report on the Kennedy assassination came out. We felt that there was room for a book that was larger, that was distanced from the event by more than what the news press or the newsprint did. So that
okay.
we created a series, we called them Bantam Extras, and they were with the New York Times, but it was something in which you could, so the writer could look back, the Times correspondent would look back, a little longer view than Time and Newsweek and whatever. Yeah. And it sounds to me that that's exactly what
they're doing. That
the New York Times
the other
is doing.
thing I think is really interesting is you're starting to see some of the better known writers who are with the big papers like the New York Times. They're leaving the newspapers and going out on their own. And there's a new organization, and I cannot remember the name of it, I'm sorry, I was just reading about it the other day, a website where they have brought all these authors or writers who have names and followings of their own together so they can write on their own.
Right.
And they're bringing their Twitter followers and their Facebook followers with them and leaving the newspaper.
Oh, well, in some cases they're even staying with the newspaper.
Yes.
But they're, well, like
but
Politico.
The papers don't
Politico,
like that
isn't
much.
Politico one of those? Politico, I think,
does use a lot of people are still with the papers that they're
but still blogging and whatever, and still doing beyond that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating. It's just, it feels like the Wild West, you know. It's
exactly.
just so much.
We're at a time when things are changing.
Just
and the writer, it seems to me, the writer's just got to be, on top of it. Has got to learn.
And it's a hard thing. It's, as I've spent the last year doing more writing and not as much social media because I've had to, it's just it's odd. It's like I know that you need to be doing your social media all the time, but I kind of prefer just the writing now.
Okay.
And they're really different animals. You have to really be able to be two different people.
That's true.
It's not an easy thing.
That's very true. But let's go back to Chile. Now,
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Chile.
And Paul said you told him it was China.
I did not. Oh, I actually knew it was Costa Rica. Why did I? But I don't know. Chile. Anyhow, I've got it written down. Chile. Leave it to me. So you spent a month in Chile. Here she takes off. Just in the middle of everything, she takes off and she goes to Chile, to Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica for the month of October. And I went down there to finish my memoir, which I've been working on for a long time. It was part of my master's program. And I just wanted, and I was graduating in December, and I needed to finish the manuscript. And I have a cousin and her husband who own this beautiful place on the beach. On the North Pacific Coast,
what's the community?
Near Tamarindo.
Tamarindo?
Up on the North Pacific Coast.
Yeah.
And they graciously offered to let me stay there. And so I was there with the chef and the maid for 30 days.
You had your own personal chef and maid?
Yes, I did. It was really awesome.
Well, that's certainly
really
a switch.
Nice.
It's certainly a switch with your life.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Did it spoil you forever?
I think so.
Did it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty much going to have to do that a lot.
But you ended up by getting your master's, so you finished.
I finished the memoir, and I
didn't come back with a suntan either.
No, because it was rainy season. So
really?
Yeah, it was beautiful actually. The first half, 2/3 of the month I was down there, we had a little bit of rain in the evenings, which was lovely, and I would sit in the hot tub with my glass of wine and look out over the ocean and watch the rain come down. But the last 6 days I was there, we had monsoon 24-hour downpours.
Oh my Lord.
And at that point I'd finished the book, and I sat around and I played solitaire most of the time because I couldn't go out of the house.
And here we're all envying you.
It was okay. It was fun. Actually, the house...
Maybe if you'd been to Chile, it would have been different.
Yeah, maybe so. Anyway, the house is about a mile south of Tamarindo, so I could walk 20 minutes up the beach to get to the little town, or walk 40 minutes up the road, which was all dirt and so consequently mud. So I didn't walk into town, and if the tide was in, I couldn't walk up the beach. So it was
isolated.
Yeah. So it was fun, though. I had a great time.
So then you came back.
I did.
And because I suddenly had forgotten about that program that you did at the library. When was that?
The program at the library.
Didn't you, for young writers, weren't you going to do a series at the New York?
No, that was a couple years ago.
That was a couple years
ago?
That
was a couple years ago.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
No. So, no, you're thinking of the Youth Interactive Center. I was working on that Youth Interactive writing program for the Youth Interactive Center, which is a new center for at-risk kids in downtown. They're down in the Funk Zone. But I'm not doing anything with them anymore. I just had too much going on. I had to let go.
Well, but what, I don't even know what that is. I mean,
well,
it sounds
it's
fascinating.
called the Santa Barbara Youth Interactive Center, and it was started by a woman. Her name is Natalie Gensac. She's French, but grew up in London and England, and came here. She started these youth interactive centers all over the world. This is the fourth one. She's done them in Papua New Guinea, in Jamaica, India.
And she picked Santa Barbara for the
She picked Santa Barbara to be the fifth one, and to be the headquarters for all of them.
Okay.
And the idea is to create a center where kids can come and learn technology, entrepreneurship, and the arts. And so it's kind of like the 826 Valencia project in San Francisco, where they have a retail store in the front and they sell goods, and then that helps support the center. So what they're selling at the Youth Interactive Center in Santa Barbara is goods from all of these other interactive centers around the world. Beautiful handmade bags from silk scarves from India and that kind of thing, and that will ultimately start to help support the center.
But teaching kids
technology, so computer skills. They're helping them with
all at-risk
kids. They're all kids that have been handpicked out of the community that are at risk of falling into gangs or dropping out of school. And they come in after school for anywhere from 2 to 8 p.m.
Really?
And they can choose to
Has
do
anybody
art
done
actually the Independent did a great story on it when it opened in October, and there have been some other. KDB did a great video story about them, so they've had a little bit of
I've just
publicity.
been unaware of it.
Yeah, so it's going to be a really great project. It's they're looking for funding, and that's been the tough thing in this day and age.
This morning I spent some time at the library, the Santa Barbara Library.
Really struggling.
Everybody's looking for money. I'm just trying to figure out, is it worse today? Are we, with the economy generally coming back? I think it's harder.
I think people funders are being more particular. I think they're, and especially when you're starting out, when you're a startup, it's very difficult to get seed money because they want to see, are you going to be around? They're not going to put money into something that's not going to survive.
Irene was saying that also the people who do it are just overwhelmed with requests.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I keep on saying, is there some way of finding out who comes in? The new people, spy at go to the airports and go to the train terminals.
No, and to figure out who's got money and coming into town.
Who's coming? I guess they wouldn't come by train, but they come.
I think the foundations in town have a pretty good idea of who's got money in this town and who's willing to.
But those people who do are just asked all the time.
Oh yeah. There's no question about it. So anyway.
But anyhow, so let's keep on with your career.
Okay.
So now we're back from sunny, rainy Costa Rica, and you've got.
Then I finished the manuscript
your
and did some revising, got my master's degree in December in creative writing. And then since August, I've been working. That's a nice little segue. I've been working on the Summer Writing Institute for Antioch here in Santa Barbara.
Oh, do tell me what pray tell is these?
Let me tell you about the Summer Writing Institute. Now, this is actually, I'm very excited about this.
Yes, it's something very serious.
Something that I've been talking with Nancy Leffert, the president of Antioch University, for over a year.
Antioch
in Santa Barbara.
They moved, didn't they just move to
They did. They have a beautiful new building right at the corner of Anacapa and Coda Street, and it's a beautiful campus with just a stunning rooftop deck that looks out over the city. Because I remember
the other place was sort of small and cramped.
Oh no, this is really, they renovated, they did a beautiful renovation of it. It's a really nice facility. So yes, they moved in, I think last fall, and since August, actually would have been before then, maybe last spring they moved into the new building. So since August, I've been working with Antioch and Nancy Leffert to develop a summer writing institute for the Antioch campus here in Santa Barbara, and that will be held next July 28th through August 3rd. It's a week-long institute for writers to come and really who want to seriously work on the craft of writing.
So this is not the entry level.
Not necessarily. You have to apply. We expect you to be able to write, at some basic level, and they'll have to apply to be accepted. We have workshops offered in fiction, nonfiction, screenwriting, and writing for young adults.
Yeah, drop some of the names.
Okay, so in fiction, Gail Tsukiyama, who, as you know, is a wonderful literary writer based in the Bay Area. She's written Women of the Silk and a number of other books. I think she's written 5 or 6 books now, and her latest one is called 100 Flowers. Just came out in August. Josh Conviser, who's a local author here in Santa Barbara, he writes fantasy, thriller kind of work stuff. He's doing a workshop called Creating Worlds, which sounds really, I wish I could sit on it. It sounds like really a lot of fun. Barbara Samuel, who has written more than 40 books of fiction for both romance and young and women's fiction. She's a 3 or 4 time Rita Award winner from the Romance Writers of America. She's in their Hall of Fame. She's an amazing writer and teacher. I've seen her teach.
Wait, now are they're not all from They're not all from Santa Barbara.
No, it's Barbara's from Colorado.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
And then 2 writers from LA, Naomi Hirahara, who's a mystery writer from Los Angeles, and an award-winning mystery writer, and Peter Gadol, who's also an award-winning literary fiction writer from Los Angeles. So those are fiction writers. And then in nonfiction, we've got Lou Cannon, our esteemed Lou Cannon journalist, longtime journalist, Reagan biographer.
Right.
He's
a go-to on
for
Reagan.
politics
on
and on Reagan.
Right,
he's just amazing. And then Diana Rabb and Maureen Murdoch are both going to do workshops on memoir. I have Jerry Roberts will hopefully be with us. He's
when you say
scheduled.
But how's he feeling?
He's still in the hospital in San Francisco, and I've been he has a brand new grandson. They've been putting wonderful pictures on Facebook of him with his new grandson. So I'm happy.
But wait, but I'm still because you were there at my place when Paul, I was trying the new biography of Jerry Brown. I hope that he's
it'd be great if he could do that. So that and then
my best, please.
I will. Maria Straczynski, who is the editor of Pacific Standard magazine, which was called Miller McCune.
Yes.
She was managing editor of the Atlantic magazine for many, many years, and now is the top editor at the Pacific Standard. So she's going to do one on long-form journalism for us, which will be really nice. So that's our nonfiction. In screenwriting, oh my gosh, we've got David W. Rintells, who has an amazing pedigree as a screenwriter.
Yes.
Multiple award-winning,
Also, I think he was head of the screenwriters.
He was president of the Authors Guild or Writers Guild for a long time. Robin Swycord, who's done some amazing movies, including Benjamin Button and a number of other really
married to Nicholas Kazan.
Nicholas Kazan, Eli Kazan's son.
Yes.
Sherry Steinkellner and Bill Steinkellner, 2 of my favorite people in the whole world. They, as you know, they live here in Santa Barbara, but they were the powerhouse force behind Cheers and a number of Sister Act
on Broadway.
Sherry
and Hello,
had a Tony nomination for Sister Act on Broadway.
And what about Hello, Happy?
Hello, My Baby.
Hello,
she did
My
here,
Baby,
and also she's done some wonderful stuff with youth. They did. Our Town last year up at Ellings Park, which is a beautiful production with a bunch of young kids. So they're doing, and then the 5th one in screenwriting is John Peelmeyer, who is. You probably don't have to look, but anyway, he's done. I know he's done some amazing stuff in screenwriting, so as well. Let's see if I can quickly find his. He did the play and the movie Agnes of God. Choices of the Heart, television film The Pillars of the Earth, World Without End, wrote the stage adaptation of The Exorcist. He's won
stage adaptation.
Yeah,
so
he's done a bunch of stuff. So he's great. And then the writing for young people, I'm so excited. Robin Lefevers, R.L. Lefevers, who lives here in Santa Barbara,
who
was here recently.
I
love Robin. She is on fire right now with her novels. She's written about 12 or 13 novels.
Yes, 13
but
exactly.
The latest ones are this new series, this trilogy that she's writing. And Grave Mercy was the first book that came out last year, and it got was one of top 10 books Publishers
I
Weekly
read
chose.
it, and then she tells me it's a YA. I never read it as a YA book.
It's isn't it good?
Yes.
I couldn't put it down. So the second book in the series is out this April. It's called Dark Triumph.
Yeah, she told me.
So that's already gotten a starred review in PW as well.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So she's going to do a workshop for us. And then the other two in writing for young people are Jennifer Bosworth, who's from Los Angeles. She and her husband are a writer, director, the screenwriting team. They do films in LA, but she just wrote a brand new book called Struck, a YA novel that's gotten lots of rave reviews, and she's going to do a workshop for us. And then Bruce Hale. Bruce Hale lives here in Santa Barbara. He's written dozens of books for young children, including his award-winning Chet Gecko series. He's a detective, Chet Gecko, and he's going to do a workshop on writing for the wee ones, which will be really fun.
Okay.
So like picture books and.
Now, as I remember, when somebody signs up for a course, they have to stay with that teacher.
Yes,
In other words,
this is where
move around.
you choose. You give us your first, second, and third choices, but the idea is that you are paired with an author
The whole
to work
week.
with the whole
The whole
week.
week.
So you're working every morning from 9 to noon with a group of no more than 10 other writers, and so you have the opportunity to have really intimate, individualized attention with your work. You bring your work in, and
So again, it's a
workshop.
lot of reading your own
A
material.
lot of reading your own material, a lot of workshopping, and each workshop leader will do it a little differently, but that's essentially the idea behind it. So they'll do that in the mornings and the afternoons. They'll have the time free to write
But
or
you've got a couple of speakers.
we have a couple of Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. We've got some panels planned with cocktail hour. So we'll have, one of them is on new genres and one of them's on the business of publishing. The idea behind this Writing Institute is to focus mostly on the craft of writing, and so we're not going to, other than as it may come up naturally in the workshops, there's not going to be a huge focus on how do I get my book published, how do I get an agent,
which brings up the Santa Barbara Writers Conference,
which they do very well.
Which I have to tell you,
perfect.
But they've got a couple of interesting panels. It seems to me they're moving more practically than they've done before. The Santa Barbara Writers Conference is June 8th through the 13th at the Hyatt, and we have Sue Grafton and Elizabeth Berg as two of the speakers. But their panels, one is working as an editor. Now that's something I've been dying for years. And then they have the first book, and that's Robin Winters, who actually we interviewed at the same time as we did Robin Lefevre. They also have memoir with Nora Gallagher. You know Nora?
Oh yeah, I do know Nora.
Yeah.
Good.
And Karen Fennell, I think is the second one.
Okay.
Also building up your author platform. That's Kit.
With Kit Steinkellner.
Steinkellner.
The daughter of the aforementioned Sherry and Bill Steinkellner. Yes.
I just couldn't believe it. Here we've got the whole family. You better watch it. It sounds to me like the whole family's going to take over Santa Barbara.
They should. They're amazing.
But it sounds to me like they're all theatrical too.
Yes. Though. Oh yeah. They're all in theater and all writing and all. I mean, it just blows me away. Teddy, their son.
The son, yeah.
He's graduated from college a couple years ago. Decided that in the summer of his junior year to write a novel. So he did, and it's coming out in September. Disney Books.
Really?
No kidding.
One of those. Oh, geez.
This unbelievable.
And does he live here too?
I think he's in LA. He's in LA. Oh. No, the only one at home still is Emma, the youngest one. The other two are in Los Angeles.
I've been wanting to do her.
Oh.
I've been wanting to do her for a long time. We just couldn't agree on time originally, but I didn't realize that she or the family were so.
You could have her come in with Kit and Teddy.
Well, yeah, but I'm not. We
don't have that enough.
We only really. I don't know if we did have a third chair, I might add, but we had to sell it in order to keep
pay
on
for the CDs.
To keep on going. Yes, to keep on going.
Anyway, so the only other thing about the Summer Writing Institute is that in the evenings we'll have author readings every night. And so some of the authors that are teaching are going to do those. One night, Sherry and Bill are going to do a night of improv, an interactive night with the group. And then I've got Ron Carlson coming up from Los Angeles to read one night, who's an amazing novelist and memoirist. And Annie Bardock is going to come and do a reading one night for us as well.
So we're keeping some of it. We're keeping it in Santa Barbara.
Well, this is our first year, so we're trying to, use our local talent and keep our expenses down and that kind of thing. So, but I mean, we have so many amazing people
separating separating the Writers' Conference from
I see them as very different things.
I think so too. Yeah. But I think you've got to be more committed to the Antioch program.
Well, yeah. I mean, Antioch is an academic institution, so as such, we're more.
But tell me about Antioch. It seemed to me it was very small, and suddenly it's loomed. Is it because of new people? Is it because it's been reorganized? I mean, I'm talking about.
I think you're seeing the influence of Nancy Leffert, who's the president, who's only been there a couple of years.
Yeah, she wasn't around when we were.
She's the one who worked with the. I can't remember. I think it was I'm not going to say because I can't remember exactly which foundation, but a foundation that helped them buy this building so they could move the campus into this place. She's been just a whirlwind of new energy and excitement, and the campus is growing. The intention is to grow.
Yeah, it was when we were doing the Santa Barbara Book and Author Festival. I remember trying to get them involved.
Well, and Vicki Riskin, who is the president of the board at Antioch, is also a real powerhouse, and both of them really wanted to do something on writing, so that's why this program is starting.
Whatever happened to the women, the women's program, the women's group that normally in March that always take over and bring speakers? Is that still going on?
I think that's still going on. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
Yeah. I think is that in March? No, I know the Comm Luncheon's coming up.
The Comm Lunch is always in March, but it seemed to me that was March too.
I haven't heard this year, but
maybe not.
Yeah.
But in terms of, do anybody on your blogs or whatever, because it seems to me people are always contacting you, do they really realize, going back to your book,
how hard it is?
Yeah, what really has to be done, and the fact that there are new things every day. I mean, I read the New York Times, and then I call you. Do you know this? And you're always ahead of me. You always have known those things. But the point is, you're keeping up daily with the changes being made in publishing.
Yeah.
And there's nobody.
I try to.
I don't think there's anybody else here who's doing it.
Yeah, well, I think some of the authors here are pretty savvy.
From a self-protection standpoint, yes, but I think they have to learn about what the new things are. Yes, they'll, I think then they throw themselves at it at full tilt.
Well, honestly, it's almost a full-time job to keep up with everything. I try to keep up with all the new social media that are coming into existence, and I finally, when I went down to Costa Rica, I learned how to do Pinterest because I couldn't figure out what is that? What is Pinterest?
No,
see, you're way behind.
Oh,
the curve.
I know.
Pinterest is a new social media.